Variegated Sea Fan. The sea fan may look like a plant, but it is really a collection of thousands of tiny animals which are closely related to corals and jellyfish. These animals live in polyps that are attached to branches made of a skeleton-like material. The branches of a sea fan are usually pointed in the direction of water currents, carrying plenty of microscopic food on which the sea fan polyps feed. Brooding Anemone. Anemones look like gentle underwater flowers. In fact, most anemones are meat-eaters that love to devour small fish and crustaceans. The anemone uses the stinging tentacles around its mouth to paralyze or kill its prey. Then, the anemone will draw the animal into its mouth, where it is digested over a period of several hours. Jewel anemone. Most anemones rarely move from one spot. Beginning when they are very young, anemones attach themselves to a piece of coral, rock, or the ocean bottom using a sticky pedal foot. Once the anemone is in that position, it must rely entirely on the food that happens to float by for its nourishment. Some anemones, however, can leap from their position when they are attacked or threatened. Hydrocoral. Inside a hydrocoral are thousands of tiny animals that feed on microscopic particles floating in the water. Hydrocorals are members of the large family of animals known as Cnidaria. These sea creatures have stinging cells in their body which are expelled when they make contact with another surface. Giant anemone. Anemones are a common sight in tide pools. They feed on the numerous small fish and crustaceans which make their home there. When the tide goes out, anemones seal themselves up so that they don't dry out in the air. As soon as the tide returns, the anemone opens back up. Soft coral. Coral animals can only grow in warm tropical seas where there is very little sediment in the water. That is because most corals depend on tiny algae which need lots of sunlight and live inside the corals' bodies. Soft corals are different from hard corals because they do not leave a tough skeletal material behind when they die. Brain coral. This brain coral looks as if it could be a large piece of rock. At night, however, the thousands of tiny coral animals living inside the brain coral will emerge from their polyps to feed on microscopic particles in the water. Brain coral. Coral colonies are made up of tens of thousands of tiny coral animals known as polyps. As each animal dies, it leaves behind a hard shell. Over thousands of years, the shells of the dead coral animals will create a giant coral reef. Sea lion. Sea lions may look lovable, but they have short tempers and will often bite a person if they are scared. Most sea lions live on rocky coastlines, such as those found in California, where the water is fairly cool. During the mating season, male sea lions are well known for their loud bark. The main difference between sea lions and seals is that the flippers of a sea lion act more like true legs and can be used to help the sea lion walk or even run on dry land. Manatee. Manatees are slow-moving marine mammals that live in and near river estuaries. Manatees make very good parents, taking care of their babies for long periods of time. These peaceful animals live on a diet of seagrasses and other types of underwater plants. Manatees can grow as long as 15 feet and weigh as much as 1,300 pounds. Killer whale. Killer whales are intelligent and ferocious hunters. They swim in packs and eat sea lions and even other whales. For many years, people thought that killer whales were man-eaters. This has been proven to be quite untrue, though on occasion, a killer whale has been known to mistake a scuba diver for a sea lion. Humpback Whale. What a performance! When a humpback whale is in a playful mood, it can leap almost completely out of the water, landing with an enormous splash. During the winter months, humpback whales spend their days in tropical waters where they mate and give birth. When it is summer, though, humpback whales migrate to colder waters where they spend most of their time feeding on the abundance of animals floating in the water. Beluga Whale. Beluga whales, like all cetaceans, breathe air through a blowhole on the top of their head and give birth to live babies. They also have warm blood. Beluga whales spend most of their lives swimming in the colder waters of the Arctic Ocean. Beluga whales are rather slow swimmers and are often preyed upon by packs of killer whales. Blue whale. The blue whale is the largest animal on the planet, living or dead. It can reach lengths of 100 feet or more and weights of 130 tons. While blue whales may be giants, they're one of the gentlest creatures in the sea. They achieve their enormous size by feeding on tiny animals known as krill, which they filter through the baleen in their enormous mouths. Blue whales were nearly hunted into extinction by men who turned the blue whale's blubber into oil. Since the 1960s, however, the blue whale has been protected by an international agreement, and the population of blue whales has slowly begun to recover. Pacific white dolphin. Dolphins are among the smartest animals on the planet. They swim in groups called pods and love to play. Dolphins are capable of learning very complex tricks, and scientists have shown that they use simple means for communicating with one another. To find their way around the ocean, dolphins use something called echolocation. At frequent intervals, the dolphin emits a small click-like sound into the water. By listening to the returning echoes from the sound, the dolphin can determine the precise location of nearby objects. Harbor seal. Harbor seals have to be careful when they are in the water. Predators such as killer whales love to eat seals for dinner, or breakfast and lunch for that matter. Harbor seals are only found in the northern hemisphere and generally prefer colder climates to warmer ones. The harbor seal's streamlined body makes it a fast, agile swimmer, but not very mobile on land. Elephant seal. Each year, elephant seals gather in enormous groups to mate. At this time, the male elephant seals will engage in small fighting contests with one another to determine which male is the strongest. The winners of these battles will have the chance to mate with the female elephant seals. The losers must often wait another year until they are larger and stronger before they have an opportunity to mate. These battles can appear quite violent, but usually neither contestant is seriously hurt by them. Great white shark. So what's for dinner? The majority of sharks are not man-eaters, but some, like the great white shark, can be quite dangerous. Most divers prefer to be in a sturdy shark cage when studying great white sharks. Sometimes, even a shark cage is not enough protection. There have been cases of very large great white sharks that have broken through shark cages. Spotted Moire Eel. Moire eels spend most of their time hiding in caves. When they're hungry, they will come out and snap up fish, squid, or crustaceans with their powerful jaws. Moire eels have a reputation for being dangerous to humans, but most moire eels will not attack a person unless they are provoked. Octopus. The octopus can change the color of its skin to match its surroundings almost instantaneously. When an octopus is hunting, it will remain camouflaged until its prey is within reach. Then, the octopus will strike out, grabbing its prey with its powerful arms. Once the octopus has caught its prey, it will inject it with a poison from its beak-like mouth. Great white shark. Get away! Get away! The great white shark is one of the most ferocious animals in the sea. It normally likes to eat seals, fish, and even dolphins, but occasionally will take a bite out of a person. Great white sharks can grow up to lengths of 20 feet, though some divers and fishermen claim to have seen great whites that measured as long as 35 feet. These terrifying fish are most commonly found in the temperate waters off of California, Australia, and the Horn of Africa. White-tip reef shark. The white-tip reef shark spends its days patrolling the waters around a coral reef. Many skin divers have been frightened by an overly curious white-tip reef shark swimming nearby, but most reef sharks would never attack a person unless they were surprised or threatened. Great Barracuda. It's usually not a good idea to wear shiny objects in the same water where barracudas like to swim. Sometimes, the barracuda will mistake the shiny object for a small fish and try to take a bite out of you. Barracudas can be found in tropical ocean waters all over the world. Their long, streamlined bodies make them fast swimmers, capable of stopping and accelerating quite rapidly. When barracudas are young, they will often swim in large groups, but as they get older, they generally hunt by themselves or in small groups of 2 or 3 fish. Stingray. The stingray has a sharp spiny tail that it uses to kill small fish and other undersea animals. To catch its prey, the stingray will cover itself with sand from the ocean bottom and then remain motionless until an unsuspecting fish or crustacean swims by. Sometimes divers are stung by a stingray that is hidden beneath the sand. Jellyfish. The only way for most jellyfish to move is by being pulled along in the ocean current. Some jellyfish can propel themselves through the water by undulating their bell-shaped bodies. Nautilus. The nautilus is a close relative of the octopus and squid. Ancient ancestors of the nautilus were alive even before dinosaurs walked on the earth. To move through the ocean, the nautilus shoots water out of a small hole in its shell. The nautilus spends most of its daylight hours living in deeper waters. When it becomes dark, however, the nautilus rises to shallower waters where it hunts for small fish and crustaceans. Bat ray. The skeleton of a bat ray is made of a rubbery material called cartilage. This lightweight substance, which humans also have in their bodies, helps make the bat ray more buoyant. Bat rays move through the water by flapping their wings in much the same fashion as birds do. While bat rays look quite threatening, they are very peaceful creatures and would rarely hurt a person. Yellowfin Tuna. Tuna are fast-moving predators that swim in large groups and love to hunt for schools of small fish and squid. Tuna are among the most popular fish in the world to eat. Fishermen use extremely large nets to catch them. Unfortunately, these nets accidentally catch and kill many kinds of dolphin, which like to swim beneath schools of tuna. Blacktip reef shark. Watch out! When a black-tipped shark is in a feeding frenzy, it will bite into almost anything, including a person or even another shark. Normally, however, black-tipped sharks are not dangerous to man, though their curiosity will often bring them quite close to skin divers and other swimmers. Black-tipped sharks typically like to swim in the open ocean and near coral reefs, where large schools of fish and other animals offer an abundant supply of food. Spotted eagle ray. To move through the water, the graceful eagle ray flaps its fins in much the same way a bird flaps its wings. This movement makes the eagle ray actually look as if it is flying through the ocean. Eagle rays are peaceful creatures. They feed on squid, crustaceans, and mollusks. Eagle rays are quite sociable and will often gather in large groups to swim. Some eagle rays will even leap completely out of the water, landing with a large splash. Gray whale. Every year, the gray whale makes a tremendous voyage from the Arctic Ocean to the warm waters around Baja, Mexico. Most whales migrate great distances each year to reach their breeding ground. Whale watchers will often pick spots on ocean coastlines to watch groups of whales swimming by on their way to the breeding ground. Galapagos shark. Sharks, like the Galapagos shark, have an incredible sense of smell, making it possible to detect very tiny quantities of blood in the water. Sharks also can detect electrical fields in the water by using a sense organ known as the ampullae of Lorenzini. These are small openings in the shark's snout that are filled with a jelly-like substance which can transmit tiny electrical signals in the water to the shark's brain. Green sea turtle. The sea turtle swims hundreds of miles across the open ocean to lay its eggs on the same beach where it was born. Once it arrives, the sea turtle crawls over the sandy beach and digs a deep hole where it deposits its eggs. When the eggs hatch, the baby sea turtles must crawl awkwardly across the beach and back into the sea. As human settlements expand to more coastal areas, the nesting sites for many sea turtles have vanished. Anglerfish. Deep-sea anglerfish live so deep in the ocean that there is almost no light with which to see. To catch tiny fish to eat, they use a glowing lure that is attached to their head. This lure draws other fish close enough to the anglerfish so that it can swallow them with its large mouth. Some male deep-sea anglerfish reproduce by attaching themselves to the body of a female anglerfish. They will remain there like a parasite, living off the female's blood supply. Right whale. All whales must come to the surface of the water to breathe. When they do, whales must quickly push the old air from their lungs out of a hole on the top of their head, known as a blowhole. At nearly the same time, the whale must breathe in fresh air, which they can then hold in their lungs for many minutes at a time. Some whales, like the sperm whale, can hold their breath for extremely long periods of time as they dive to incredible depths beneath the ocean's surface. Whale shark. The giant whale shark is the largest fish in the ocean. It can grow to a length of 60 feet. Unlike most sharks, the whale shark is a peaceful creature. It feeds on microscopic plants and animals known as plankton. Some whale sharks will even eat garbage. Whale sharks are found in warm and temperate waters around the world. They are so gentle that some fortunate skin divers have caught rides with whale sharks by holding on to their large dorsal fins. Blue marlin. The blue marlin is one of the fastest fish in the ocean. It can reach speeds of nearly 30 miles an hour, almost as fast as a speedboat. Blue marlins are well known for the dramatic leaps they make out of the water. These fast-moving fish are effective hunters. Often, they will encircle a group of small fish or squid and then spear them with their long sword-like snouts. Manta Ray. The manta ray is a gentle creature that lives on a diet of tiny plankton that it swallows as it swims through the water. Manta rays are members of the same family of fish as sharks and skates. For years, people thought that manta rays were dangerous to humans. As it turns out, manta rays are among the most peaceful animals in the sea. At certain times in the year, manta rays can be seen leaping clear out of the water. These graceful animals can grow to enormous sizes. Some have been measured at more than 23 feet across. Jellyfish. The tentacles of a jellyfish are loaded with stinging cells that can paralyze or kill a small fish. These tentacles don't feel good on your skin either. Jellyfish can move themselves forward by undulating their bell-shaped bodies. Jellyfish cannot, however, choose the direction in which they move and must drift along with the prevailing ocean current. Squid. The squid is a member of a large class of undersea animals known as cephalopods. These animals have large brains and complex nervous systems. A squid is capable of seeing quite well in day or night, and its skin can change color quickly to match its surroundings. Some scientists believe that squid even change the color of their skin to express simple emotions such as anger and fear. Most squid measure only a few feet in length, but there are also giant squid, which measure 50 feet in length, that live in the deepest parts of the ocean. French angelfish. Angelfish come in many sizes and colors. They all have tall, thin bodies that are perfect for squeezing into the small crevices of a coral reef. Angelfish live in the warm waters of the tropics. Because of their brilliant colors and patterns, they're one of the most popular subjects of underwater photographers. Butterfly fish. The butterfly fish is a beautiful inhabitant of tropical waters all over the world. Its brightly colored body actually helps protect the butterfly fish from predators. The butterfly fish's markings, such as spots and stripes, make it difficult for predators to determine where the butterfly fish's body begins and ends. Quite often, a hungry predator will confuse a spot on a butterfly fish's body as its eye, and end up taking a bite out of the rock behind the butterfly fish instead. Surgeonfish. Many divers make the mistake of touching a seemingly defenseless surgeonfish, only to discover that it has a razor-sharp barb in its tail. This barb flips out whenever the surgeonfish is in trouble or when it is touched the wrong way. Be careful! Lionfish. Look, but don't touch! The lionfish is one of the most beautiful members of a coral reef, but its spines are loaded with a deadly poison that can make you very sick, or even kill you. To catch its prey, a lionfish will wait among the branches of a sea fan until a small shrimp or fish comes within reach. When its prey is close enough, the lionfish will leap out of its hiding place and try to swallow the animal in a single gulp. Moorish Idol. Normally, Moorish idols like to swim alone. When they mate, however, they will gather in large groups near a coral reef. For any diver who is fortunate enough, this can be one of the most beautiful underwater sights to witness. Moorish idols are most often found in the warm waters around islands in the western Pacific Ocean. Saddle wrasse. There are hundreds of different kinds of wrasse fish living in the ocean. Most are quite colorful and have a reputation for their extreme curiosity. Some wrasses are known as cleaner fish. They will actually eat the dead skin and parasites off the bodies of other fish, and sometimes even clean the skin of a fish that is usually its mortal enemy. Clownfish. The clownfish hides among the tentacles of an anemone for protection. Mysteriously, they don't get stung. Some scientists believe that the clownfish has a special covering on its skin that protects it from the stinging cells of an anemone. Sometimes, when a clownfish is in serious trouble, it will hide in the mouth of an anemone. If it is not careful, a hungry anemone will try to trap the clownfish in its stomach for good. Porcupine fish. When a porcupine fish becomes scared, it can puff its body up to twice its normal size. The porcupine fish does this by swallowing large amounts of water all at once. Most predators are unwilling to try to eat a blown-up porcupine fish because the sharp spines on its body point straight out, causing any animal a bad case of indigestion. The porcupine fish has another defense. Its flesh is highly poisonous. Under normal conditions, the porcupine fish is small and oblong-shaped and spends its days swimming near the sandy bottoms of coral reefs. Longnose filefish. This filefish has a long snout that is perfect for nibbling on tiny pieces of algae. There are many varieties of filefish. Some are quite colorful, while others closely resemble the brown and black patterns of the sea floor. The skin of a filefish is quite rough to the touch. It is covered with a thick layer of bony plates and barbs that closely resembles the feeling of sandpaper. Seahorse. Seahorses are very funny-looking fish. They have a long tail that can hold on to strips of seaweed, and they can swim either horizontally or vertically. When seahorses mate, the male takes the fertilized eggs from the female and holds them in a tiny pouch until they hatch. As the young seahorses hatch, the male seahorse propels them out of its body one by one, letting the tiny seahorses float away in the ocean current. Stonefish. It's almost impossible to spot a stonefish when it is hiding among seaweed and rocks. This kind of camouflage is very effective when the stonefish is trying to catch small fish and crustaceans. To defend itself from larger predators like the Moire Eel or Octopus, the stonefish has 13 sharp poisonous spines which rest lengthwise along its back. When the stonefish is threatened, these spines point straight out and can inject large amounts of poisons into an attacker's flesh. Wolf eel. The wolf eel lives in cold water and loves to eat crabs, shellfish, and starfish. It has a large, powerful jaw that can easily crush a crab's hard shell. Like moray eels, wolf eels hide in caves and among rocks until their prey swims within reach. The wolf eel may look dangerous, but it is quite harmless, unless, of course, you put your hand directly inside its hiding place. Hammerhead Shark. For years, people have wondered why the hammerhead's head is shaped the way it is. Some scientists believe this particular shape helps the hammerhead swim faster in the water by providing its body lift in the same way that an airplane's wings help an airplane fly. Other scientists believe that the hammerhead can see and smell better with its eyes and other sense organs spread across a wide surface. Lizardfish. The lizardfish is known to hide in the sand for hours until its prey swims within reach. At that moment, the lizardfish will use its pectoral fins to leap out of the sand and then seize the fish or crustacean with its large mouth. Flounder. When a flounder is very young, its eyes are located on two sides of its face. Over time, though, the eyes rotate until they are both on the same side of the flounder's face. Flounders spend almost all of their time on the bottom of the ocean. They will often cover themselves with sand so that only their eyes are visible. When a fish or crustacean swims by, the flounder will snap it up with their mouth. Spiny Lobster. Lobsters spend most of their time underwater, but occasionally climb on shore to mate or eat. Lobsters are members of a family of animals known as crustaceans. These animals have no internal skeleton. Rather, their body is supported by a hard external shell. Periodically, the lobster must replace the shell with a new one if it is to continue to grow. Blue sea star. These beautiful blue sea stars live in the warm waters of the South Pacific. Like other sea stars, the blue sea star has a simple set of organs enclosed in its body. For instance, its mouth leads directly to its digestive system. Sea stars do not have blood circulating in their body. Rather, they have a set of tiny fluid-filled canals that transport water from the sea star's mouth to the ends of its 5 arms. Shore crab. Shore crabs are often seen skittering across the sand in search of a hiding place. Crabs come in many different shapes and sizes. Some crabs are quite tiny and live inside the shells of mollusks. Other crabs measure nearly 16 feet across and can be very effective hunters, snapping up small animals with their giant pincers. Rocky coastline. The constant pounding of the ocean's waves will eventually eat away at this rocky coastline. This process, which takes many thousands of years, is called erosion. Sometimes people build houses along shorelines like this, only to have them fall apart when the cliffs give way to the force of the waves. Sea urchin. Ouch! Many bathers have had their day at the beach spoiled by accidentally stepping on a hidden sea urchin. These spiny creatures are close relatives of the starfish. Their bodies can be segmented into 5 equal parts, and like the starfish, they move around on thousands of tiny tube feet, which are located on the underside of their body. Orange starfish. The orange starfish moves around on thousands of tiny tube feet located on the undersides of its arms. These tube feet are attached to tiny canals which line the insides of the starfish's arms. The pressure of water moving in and out of these canals helps propel the starfish's feet in the same direction. Slipper lobster. The slipper lobster's shovel-shaped mouth is used to move sand or other tiny objects on the ocean bottom. Lobsters, like the slipper lobster, can be found all over the world in warm and cold waters. All lobsters have a hard shell that covers their body, 2 antennae, and a pair of large pincers which they use to grasp and kill their prey. Thanks guys, peace and love.